Welcome to 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. He has gray hair, he has a gray beard, he wears glasses like the guy in the artwork. Oh, and the guy in the artwork is better looking. Now, here is Gray Hair Dave.
Okay, well, welcome back, folks, to, like they said, another episode of 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. Yeah, it's me, good old Gray Hair Dave, sitting around today on this wet and soggy day here in Central Florida. Been a wet couple of days, but you live in Central Florida, that's what happens. How's your day going, folks? I tell you what, I'm doing okay today. Been kind of a lazy day. Sorry I haven't been around for a couple of weeks, but every once in a while, I get tired of podcasting. And you would say, but Dave, you're only here once a week. True. In the beginning of this podcast, it was once a day. And I tell you what, that was, at times, a large pain in the butt. But I do have to admit, I am back and I'm ready to continue on. I was thinking earlier today, and this is a change of subject, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about old-time TV. Now, when I say old-time TV, I'm thinking back in the 80s and 90s, maybe some of the late 70s, or mid to late 70s. But there was a TV show called WKRP in Cincinnati. There was a DJ on there, played by Howard Sussman. I'm pretty sure that's his name. And his character's name was Dr. Johnny Fever. And Dr. Fever always called everybody baby. How you doing, my fellow babies? What brought that into my head today? But what I was thinking of old-time TV shows this last weekend. And Dr. Johnny Fever just popped into my head. That was back when the comedies were different. You could... censoring was coming in to choke off good comedy, but it hadn't arrived completely yet. It was there, but it wasn't yet. You know what I mean? They couldn't swear, but that's what they were looking for, was the cuss words, the double entendres or whatever, but it wasn't as much of, oh shoot, he said what about who, what, where, And they talked about things also that were happening in the world sometimes. So they would introduce humor, and then in that humor introduce a tragedy or something that was happening around the world. Like there was a concert where the bleachers collapsed, I think it was, and it was talked about deeply on that one. And that's not the only time that's happened. You go to large events, and you always have a chance to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Nobody wants that to happen, and everybody does their very, very best to make sure that it doesn't happen. But sometimes you can't get away from it. And WKRP was not the only one to talk about it. I get up early in the morning and there's not much on, so sometimes I'll flip on TBS or something like that, and there'll be a show called Family Matters on. Family Matters was set in Chicago back in the 70s or 80s, or maybe it was the 90s. They may have been the late 80s, early 90s. Mid-90s. I'm not sure of the exact time frame, but there was a show on the other day about where one of the characters' best friends was shot at school. So the whole thing was talking about that kind of tragedy and trying to help and find ways to keep guns out of schools. We're still trying to do that today, folks, and it's not working so well in some cities. young men are dying because of drugs, because of gangs, and those such things. And as a person who was not involved in those types of things, I don't know what it's like to be involved in those types of things. And I've been blessed because nobody that I know of has been involved in those types of things or those types of tragedies. But every time somebody is killed here in Orlando, the first thing I think of is their parents. Now, I'm sure that a very large part of the reason for me thinking that is the fact that I'm older, and that's the first thing that comes to my mind is, geez, their parents must be devastated. Their families, their brothers, their sisters, whoever, they're devastated. It's out of control, folks, and I don't want to be here telling you that I advocate gun control and all these kinds of things because that's not where I'm headed. What I'm trying to get across today is that in this world where there's some real live crap going on in other countries, there's goofy stuff going on here, and it's serious goofy stuff, but it doesn't need to be happening. Okay, now let's change subject and get off of that because I don't know. So let's move on to technology. If you're a listener to 5 Minutes of Gray Hair Dave, I told you that I upgraded my system to a Mac Mini M4 with a 16 gig RAM, and I got 528 on hard drive. And I went out and I bought a dock for it, and it gets it up off the ground. There's some air between the dock and the bottom of the Mac Mini so it can breathe. And it also has an enclosure that I can add up to 8 terabytes of storage if I want to. So I thought, okay, well, let's go in and let's go ahead and add 2 terabytes to this. And I added it, and I'm positive I got the one that they wanted me to get, which was the Samsung 990 Pro. And I added that, and boy, that devil, when it's plugged in, even when I'm not importing to it or I'm not it's being used, but it's not being directly used, it gets hot. And that bothered me, so I wanted to do some research into that. But if you're somebody who has an external drive that you've made yourself and you've inserted a 990 Pro by Samsung, do me a favor and let me know if it's getting hot on you. I mean, even in an external enclosure, because this is enclosed in a capsule, in this dock. It doesn't have a fan in there. It's not powered by anything but the Mac Mini, but I have now since unplugged that dock from my Mac Mini, and it is now just basically a stand. The only extra thing I was going to get out of it was a couple of USB-A ports, and I wasn't worried about that. I wanted to get there to be some space between my desk and the bottom of the Mac Mini so that the fans could work properly and not make noise, and it gets the air it needs. And the 2 terabyte was just an afterthought, but I did it, and I'm not happy with myself. I don't know what I'm going to do about it yet, but I'm going to do some research. So if you know about these things, please give me a shout at 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave at the website. 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. That's the number 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. You can go to the Contact Me page and leave me a message or me an email, or you can just tap that little microphone and leave me an email and a message, and I will, of course, get back to you. I have received an email on there recently, and this is what made me think of this today, because it was a very, very nicely worded email from this nice lady, or this nice person named Devin, And Devin, if you're out there listening, hey, thanks for the email. And yes, I would like to have a chat with the person you were talking about. Where is it? There it is. There was a gentleman out there who had heard, or they listened to my episode. And they're very big into technologies, and I wanted to let them know that I'm interested. So I'm going to email Devin and let them know that I am interested in talking with this person. And if this is something that you wouldn't mind hearing about, I'm going to interview this person, hopefully, as long as they don't charge for the interview. Because I don't believe in charging or paying to interview people. I would never charge somebody to interview me on a podcast, and vice versa. I would never charge anybody to either interview them or be on their podcast. I don't think that that's what it's about. Now, if you want me to speak at a conference about what I'm talking about, well, that's a different scenario. That's a speaking gig. This is just an interview where we're sitting around talking. And I would also put that on Boomer Podcasters, because I think it'd be interesting for a lot of baby boomers to understand these things. You know, what are they getting into? What do they got? These types of things are important to baby boomers. You know, as well as Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. Not everybody is a tech person. It's just the way it is. Not everybody is. I like tech. I enjoy the heck out of it. And most people allow me to help them when they have problems or questions. And if they do, I help them if I can. Doesn't mean I always can. Just means I will always try and help. But anyway, that's about all I got for today. If you know somebody who's interested in starting a podcast, please go ahead and have them get a hold of me over at greyhairproductions.com. That's GREY hairproductions.com. They can leave me an email and I'll get back with them about, whatever their concerns are, or try and help them with whatever they're doing, or help them get started completely. That's what I do there. And I also do editing for people. So if you know a podcaster out there who's frustrated, or even a video person that's out there doing, TikToks or YouTubes or longer YouTubes, and you want help, or they want help, let me know. Tell them to go to Gray Hair Productions. That's what I do. I edit in audio and video, short form video. I'm not the movie editor. I'm just a video editor. I can do that. But also, folks, if you know somebody who doesn't know what a podcast is, doesn't know where to find it, doesn't know what genres there are out there, and please do me a favor and let them know what there are. Show them, take them by the hand, put the phone in your hand and show them where it is, and use 5 minutes of Gray Hair Dave as an example, and have them follow me. That way they can get me, and they can tell others about it. I'd appreciate that. Next, folks, the weather's been crazy across the country in the U.S., and the world is going crazy all around us. So when you're out and about and you see somebody you don't know, just smile at them, or wave, or say hi. For no reason at all, other than to just say hi. It'll make their day, and in turn, it'll make your day too. So on behalf of Dave here at Gray Hair Productions, I'm going to wish you a great week. And if you think about it, have fun. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.